check this. He's got to convince them that as bad as the crucifixion was, the resurrection can still take place. He knows where to find them. Check this. Knows where to find them. He goes to the Sea of Tiberias. Bible says this is how he showed himself. So you got Simon Peter. Then you've got Thomas. We call him the doubter. Bible calls him the twin. Nathanael of Cana of Galilee. The two sons of Zebedee, James and John, the sons of thunder. And you've got these two other disciples. Doesn't mention their names, just two other disciples. And they're all here. It's about 7 of them. And Peter says, I am going fishing. Hanging out with his boys. It's been a wild couple of weeks. Y'all have gone from raising Lazarus to seeing Jesus crucified. Peter says, bruh, I'm about to go crazy trying to keep up with what is going on. I am going fishing. I'm going fishing because I believe Peter's frustrated. I believe he's frustrated. He's risen from the dead. Yeah, but I'm still trying to work through some stuff in my head. Yeah, you ever had God spiritually change some stuff, but you're still trying to work through it in your head? Like, you got fired, now you got the new job, but you're still trying to work through why they fired you on the last job. You're like, I'm happy about this, but I'm still a little salty about that. He's trying to work it all through in his head. And I believe he's frustrated because he never knew following Jesus would be this crazy. When you said, follow me and I'll make you fishers of men, Jesus, I left my boat and everything I knew to follow you. And the last thing I expected was for all this craziness to take place. You didn't tell me this. You didn't sit down and explain this to me. You didn't show me in the fine print, and I do not understand. I'm still processing all I've been through. Have you ever had to process everything you've been through following Jesus? Think. He's having to deal with the fact he has seen the worst of people. He has seen people choose to free a murderer and murder a Messiah. He has had to see people within 5 or 6 days go from saying Hosanna to crying crucify him. He is watching people he know Jesus fed be the ones who were standing there watching him be nailed. And Peter is trying to process this, and Peter said, the only thing I can do right now is go sit by some water and fish. He's frustrated because he's found out that even Judas goes to church. He can't understand how anybody can be in Jesus' ministry for 3.5 years and still sell him out for 30 pieces of silver. So, because Peter's the one who said, Lord, if everybody else is offended, it won't be me. Peter can't fathom how uncommitted people can be to Jesus. Peter's like, Lord, I left everything to follow. Peter is tripping. God, I don't get this. But I believe what makes Peter even worse right now is not his frustration with others. It's the sense of his own personal failures. Because a lot of us love to blame other people for why we're not serving God. Well, they're in that church singing, they in that church shouting, in that church on the doors, and no, they ain't no good. And we give all these excuses about what everybody else is doing, which is the reason why we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing, when what's really eating away at us is the fact that we're not doing any better than they are. They're just being seen because they're out front. I believe what really is making Peter want to quit is the fact that Peter never thought he would be the one to deny Jesus. Judas did his for money. I ain't get paid nothing. You denied Jesus and it didn't get you anything. And the point that you find Peter denying Jesus, the Bible says they were in the courtyard and Peter was sitting around the fire. Because it's always when it gets hot that we find out how committed we are. Some of us are committed to marriages until it gets hot. Some of us are committed to our assignments until it gets hot. But I want to know, can we stay committed to God when it gets hot? When you're being persecuted, criticized, ridiculed, ostracized for your commitment to Christ, will you stay there and say, I'm still going to serve God? Or will you deny him because it's too hot? Some of us, the moment temptation gets too hot, we forget our commitment to Christ because it's too hot. Everybody's sold out till it gets hot. And it's normally when the journey requires crucifixion that we choose to take an exit. It's normally when I have to deny myself, take up my cross and follow him. That's normally when I choose to back off. Because here's the deal. Peter never wanted to have to deal with that anyway. Peter was the one. Jesus tried to tell him, Peter, I'm going to go to Jerusalem. They're going to do some dirty stuff to me. I'm going to be crucified, raised again on third day. Lord, be it far from you. Why? I don't want it to happen to you because I can't imagine that happening to me. Right? So Jesus says, get thee behind me, Satan, because you savor not the things of be of God, you savor the things of the world. He said, Peter, you're tripping off the fact that if I go through this, your reputation's on the line. So I believe Peter is wrestling with his own failures because Peter is saying, I came face to face with my fears and I failed the test. You ever came face to face with that thing you were afraid of and know you failed the test? Face to face with that temptation, you knew that there was this one thing that would be hard for you to say no to, and then you came face to face with it and failed. Oh, y'all quiet in here. You must be listening. You ever came face to face with that thing? Every other area of your life was good, but you knew that one thing, if you came face to face with it, you knew you had to beat that to know you were really serious this time. Oh, y'all quiet now. Y'all quiet. Y'all don't want to tell the truth. Y'all a bunch of liars. Because some of y'all in here, truth be told, every other area you got in check, but you know, if you could pass the test and not answer when he calls. If you can say no when they call you to go do that. Y'all don't want to talk to the preacher here. You know if you can get victory in that thing, then you gonna really know you serious about what God's doing in your life. But then there was that phone rang. I'm good. Are you busy? No. This was the one thing that following Jesus, he was a little bit nervous about. And he faced it, and he failed it. And when you're wrestling with feelings of frustration and failure, too often we fall back on what's familiar. When we're frustrated, dealing with feelings of failure, I'm going somewhere. We normally fall back on what's familiar. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it may be cussing. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it may be shopping. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it may be silence. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it may be eating. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it might be gossip. For Peter, it was fishing. For us, it might be pornography. Because when we're frustrated and feeling like we failed, we have to find something that's familiar to try to soothe us. Calm our minds from what we... For Peter, it was fishing. For some of us, it's a relationship. You don't want him. You really don't. It's just that stuff in your life isn't working right now, and you just need somebody to want you. You don't really love her. You don't really want her. It's just the fact that the job isn't working right. Money's not how you want it to be. Things aren't how you like it. But the truth is, sleeping with her will give you a sense of accomplishment, although you're going to have guilt on the other side of it. And so Peter went fishing, but some of us go sleeping. Could your neighbor say, what are you falling back on? When serving God doesn't seem like it's working, what do you fall back on? Peter said, I'm going to see, sometimes what we fall back into is sin. He said, okay, I tried that saved dating stuff. Don't nobody really want no saved woman. I ain't going to keep no man trying to talk about being saved, wait until we marry. I can't keep nobody talking about waiting until we marry. He going to be gone talking about waiting until he going to be married. Somebody else talking about I'm waiting until I'm going to get married. My grandmama told me the way to keep a man is to cook for him and sleep with him. So I guess I'm going to fall back on what's familiar because I got to have a man. I'm going to go back to what I know. Yeah. Hey, man, I'm tired of trying to date these saved women. Saved women crazy. They want to pray and read the Bible and speak over my life. Just speak. You ain't got to speak over my life. Just speak. They got too many standards. They got too many expectations. They want me to come to church. They want me to be in Bible study. They want me to know how to pray. They want me. Man, I ain't no preacher. So I'm going to go back, find me somebody. So you go find you and date you somebody, mess around with you somebody like the ones you mess around with in high school. Only problem is you ain't in high school anymore. And now when you finally come to a place of maturity in your life, you are still dealing with somebody who thinks like a childhood, because she's still walking around and twerking like she's a teenager, when the fact is she a grown woman who needs to have goals. She's a grown woman that ought to have some standards. You are a mama now. Get your behind somewhere and sit down. I don't want to see you twerking. I want to see you working. I want to know, do you have insurance? Somebody tell them, you too old for that now. You're too old for that. Come on, it's time to put away those childish things. You don't have time for that. You ain't got time for somebody arguing like y'all in high school, around here trying to key your car, put stuff in your gas tank, argue, don't know how to communicate problems and differences and difficulties. Come on, I don't need to have a high school breakup every time we have a disagreement. Y'all be seated. I'm going fishing. Peter said, I'm just gonna go fishing. And the problem is, watch this. The problem is, Peter, though you're lost, you're still a leader. So now you say you're going fishing, and because you're anointed to be a leader, the other 6 men standing by you say, well, I'm going fishing too. Who is lost because you're lost?